Welcome to the Mouse Moms podcast, a Disney planning podcast where we enjoy quick conversations and cocktails with a Disney twist. We are your hosts, Jennifer.
Hello.
Lori.
Hi.
And Juliana. What's up? On today's show, we're going to take a look at the most difficult dining reservations to get at Walt Disney World right now. And then we'll let you know if we think they're worth the effort. But first, we can't talk about anything, especially food, without a Mouska cocktail.
Yes, so today, in keeping with the theme of difficult reservations to get, our Mouska cocktail is brought to you by the letter S for Sangria University. This is a fun 90-minute class offered every Saturday and Sunday at the Three Bridges Bar and Grill, which is located at Disney's Coronado Springs Resort. The cost of the course is $59, including tax and gratuity, and it has to be paid at the time of booking. Guests under 21 years of age are welcome at this, although I personally don't know why you would bring your children to this. They are charged the full fee, but they are given non-alcoholic options to mix and taste. During the class, guests are able to taste 4 different sangria recipes, and then they're given some fresh ingredients to mix one on their own. Light appetizers are also served. I have not done this yet. It sounds super awesome for a girls' trip or a couples trip. I guess if you really want to go and bring your kids, that would be fun too. But to me, $59 plus tax and tip is worth it. For juice. Bring them for $60 juice.
So have you ever done this?
No,
I have not. No.
Me neither. It's been on my list. I came so close because we were staying at Coronado in the tower in October. And I was so close to getting to do it, but it was someone's birthday and that we were with, and it wasn't on their list of things to do on their birthday. So sadly, and what makes it hard is that it's only taught on Saturdays and Sundays. And so, those aren't really big resort days,
And this has become very, very popular. So it's a very difficult reservation to get. It's something that you can still reserve 60 days out like you do for your other dining experiences, but it's a tough reservation to get. So that's what it's all about today. This sounds like it's totally worth it, in my opinion. I think it would be such a fun addition to your trip to add. So is it worth it? I think the consensus is yes.
Yeah, I mean, we're willing to give it a shot.
Go fund me.
Well, we never seem to be there over a weekend together. We always go, like part of the work week. So
I think so.
We're going to have to make it happen, I think.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it. All right. So let's get into it. So for today, as we talked about, we're going to do the top dining reservations that are the most difficult to get at Walt Disney World. So, of course, the number one right now is Space 220. Space 220 is the newest one that just opened. It is located at Epcot, right next to Mission Space. My family has been there. It's literally when you're looking at Mission Space directly to your right. It is, I will say, it's a little hard to find.
So for those of you not watching, you are not getting the joy of seeing Juliana go me, 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 me.
Some of us still haven't been able to get a reservation for their own family, but whatever.
Yes, well,
and some of us have gotten the reservation, but then canceled it because someone doesn't want to pay $79.
So jumping ahead, is it worth it? Someone doesn't think so. Someone does. I need to be the tiebreak here.
So the deal with Space 220 is it is a sit-down prefix option. It is a 2-course meal. Lunch is around $55 for adults, and dinner is around $79 for adults. So it is expensive. I look at it this way. Cinderella's Royal Table over at Magic Kingdom is super expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an experience. You're going inside Cinderella's castle. You see Cinderella. You're eating in the castle. It's an experience. Space 220 is the exact same thing. It is an experience. You essentially go through like a pre-show before you go sit down for dinner. And then you're sitting at dinner with things going on kind of in the background. Not as amazing as what I was hoping. But I know. It's fine. So basically, the whole deal is that you're going up into space, and you go up this elevator per se, and you're going up into space to eat in space. You get up there, they do have some really cute things you walk by, like how they sustain vegetables and how they're growing it in space. And then you go to sit down, and the entire one side of the wall is looking out onto space. I will give them props. They put the mission space spaceship in there because it's right next to it. So good job on that. But they could have done a lot more. There's a sporadic astro doggy that floats across the space, and there's a few astronauts that float across. They could have done a bit more. It is a quick little snippet of what kind of goes by, and that's kind of it. So even kids look at it for like 2 minutes and then they're done.
So you're definitely paying for the atmosphere. And I think what's easier to stomach for me was because I've been to Cinderella's Royal Table, but I haven't been since they got rid of the dining plan. And I think having the dining plan pay for it, it was a lot easier to stomach. By the way, you can get reservations here, still equally as difficult to get, but you can get reservations in their lounge, which still gives you that same atmosphere, right?
Right. So the difference with the lounge is that it's a smaller menu and it's a la carte as opposed to being fixed price. It's still expensive, right? But
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree and argue that the lounge is actually a more difficult reservation to get. I have been able to see Space 220 pop up more than the lounge. The lounge also, from what I understand, I've not been, as I said, has mostly smaller tables
Yeah.
for two. So because it's a lounge. So if you have a large party, the lounge is not going to work for you unless you do like 6 tables of 2. But also I think people are looking for the experience without the hefty price tag of $55 for lunch and $29 for kids for lunch at the restaurant.
Expensive.
So the
So
lounge goes a la carte. So you're able to order kind of whatever you want on the menu versus the prefix meal, which is the regular Space 220.
Right.
And the lounge itself is located in the same restaurant. The only thing that separates it, honestly, is the regular restaurant has carpet and the lounge has hardwood floor. So that's really the only difference you can kind of tell between the lounge and the restaurant itself.
And does the lounge have the same sort of,
Yep.
fake windows and all that stuff?
Yep.
So
you're in the same one big room. That's it. Literally a difference between carpet and hardwood. That's it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
So I think from my experience, the lounge is actually harder to get. And I think it's because most people would rather just do little nibbles or get a drink or whatever.
On that note, talk about the food.
The food, because I will tell you, like, while Cinderella's Royal Table's an experience, I've only been for breakfast. The food was all right. But this is an Epcot. My expectation is going to be much, much higher for the quality of the meal. So tell us, Lori.
So I think the food is absolutely fantastic. That was part of the thing is my husband is cranky when spending large amounts of money, especially when my kids are involved with food, because you never know with children whether they're going to eat or not eat and just be brats. So this restaurant he was really afraid in terms of, is the food going to be good? Is it just going to be like a Cinderella's Royal Table, where I was not blown away by the food? I thought this food was absolutely fantastic. So we ordered the calamari, which is the starry calamari. I thought it was great. They had perfect sauces with it. It was not heavily breaded. It was not greasy. It was great. We also ordered the Neptune Tartare. I'm a huge tuna tartare person, and I thought this was fantastic. It was really, really good. I think that was the only thing that we ordered. We did not end up ordering the burrata, and the menu is changing very shortly too. So they're updating some items already. But yeah, so we ordered by far the calamari, I think, is the most popular appetizer option, because you are paying for a 2-course. So most people, from what we saw coming out of the kitchen, it was the calamari or the tartare. And then some people did do the Blue Moon cauliflower, which was basically fried cauliflower and with hot sauce. And then the burrata was coming out a lot, because I think burrata is just one of those in things right now.
It looks like the menu is pretty similar for lunch and dinner. I assume that the difference in price is more that maybe the portions are smaller.
Yes. And I think Well, the difference is that for lunch, it's a 2-course meal. So you get the appetizer, or I think the 2-course is actually the entree and the dessert.
Oh,
And
you're
then
right.
for dinner, you get 3-course. So you get the
You're right.
entree and the dessert.
Yeah, I'm looking at that now. Dinner is appetizer, entree, and dessert, and lunch is appetizer and entree.
Yes.
So that must be the big difference. But and then for the lounge, it's mostly the appetizer. It looks like a lot of the appetizers are similar, but the menu is not as big at all. So if you want to go there for the food, then you need to go for one of the meals and not
there's
sit in the
couple
lounge.
Items actually in the lounge that are not in the regular restaurant that people actually go to for the lounge, which is interesting. So yeah, so for the entrees, my husband did the short rib. The short rib was awesome. It's braised short ribs with grits and bacon. It was amazing. It really was. Their short rib was awesome. We saw a few other people obviously order the steak. I'm not a big order steak person while eating out. But I've heard people go on about the steak. I was a snob and ordered the 1.5-pound baked whole lobster stuffed with jumbo crab, which was an additional cost on top of that.
Right. That's an upcharge, folks.
Yes. So that is an additional.
But you're worth it.
Right.
I mean, when in Disney.
I will say our server sold it.
The steak sounds delicious. It's a flat iron steak in a coffee rub with chimichurri sauce. It sounds really good.
I don't often order steak out either because we get really great steak here, but that looks delicious.
Yeah.
I think we need to go here.
Yes.
There's a couple things on the menu. You mentioned the things on the menu in the lounge that are not on the menu in the restaurant. There's deviled eggs, short rib sliders, and chicken and waffles. Yeah. I'll have one of each.
Those things looked amazing coming by. And I'll say it's really weird when you're sitting in the restaurant because my kids saw the chicken and waffles going by and they're like, we want a chicken and waffles. And the guy's like, no, it's just for the lounge. And I'm like, but
can't we just order it and pay for it separately?
I'm like, I promise you the price margin between a chicken and waffle and whatever other appetizer we're getting, you're making more on the chicken and waffles. Just give me the chicken and waffles.
I know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Boo.
That's interesting. And I bet if we do go to the lounge and we order one of each, we probably still won't be spending $79.
No. And in my case, I did $79 plus the $22.
Yeah.
I have
You're worth it.
It was the best lobster ever. It was the best lobster ever.
All right, so that's the question. Lori says it's worth it. Jen, who's never been, says it's not. So
let me explain. So for Lori, who's paying, the $79 for 2 people and the $29 for 3, I would be paying $79 for 5 of us.
Right.
And $29 for 1.
Yeah, I don't care.
So for that, it's not worth it for me.
Yeah, I feel you. I will tell you this. I want to try it, but I'll just do it with adults. If it's just me or just me and Andy. I don't think it's something I'm going to take my family to. So we're kind of running the gamut there.
I will say the kids loved it. The only thing my husband, so on the kids menu, they have the normal stuff. They have spaghetti and chicken and whatever. They actually do have steak for the kids that want that. But they do have macaroni and cheese. And my husband told them they could not order it because he was not spending $29 on macaroni.
I'm pretty sure I've uttered those words myself.
Yes.
I'm sure at other places.
Yeah. He's like, I don't care. I will pay for the $29 cheeseburger, but I am not paying for $29 macaroni.
Seriously. I used to get so upset when we would go out to eat, not at Disney, and I'd be like, does that mac and cheese come from a box? Because I can get that for 99 cents at home.
Like 47 cents.
I'm not paying $8 for you to serve me Kraft's mac and cheese, which is lovely and delicious. But when I go out to eat, I'd like it to be homemade.
Yep. Yeah. I get it.
So,
all right. So
I get a lot of people asking if they can they don't want to go spend the money to eat in Cinderella's castle, but can I just go up and look? And the answer is no. And I'm pretty sure the answer is no for here as well. No. So if you want to go and see this atmosphere of eating in space, then you're going to have to suck it up and make a reservation.
Put your money where your mouth is going to be.
Correct. Or you could
put your mouth where your money's going to be.
Or you could be like Jen and be cheap, and you could go watch the video I have of going up to Space 220
There
and
you
pretend that
go.
you were there.
Oh, that's right. So we'll put the link to the video in the article that we read on the blog for this.
Yes.
Can we do that? Yeah,
Yep.
because
Yes, we
I'm sure
can.
everyone would love to see that.
Yes, because we do have the video. All right, so we're kind of split on whether Space 220 is worth it or not. If you listen to me, it is. So all right, so next one we have is actually Storybook Dining at Artist Point, which is one of my favorites. So I guess I'm kind of giving that away. It is at the Wilderness Lodge. It is character dining. It has Snow White, Dopey, Grumpy, and the Queen, which is by far the best character ever at a dining anywhere. So it is a cool little atmosphere. It has an enchanted forest that you kind of walk into. It is in the main part of the Wilderness Lodge. It's a super popular one. They only do it for dinner. It's great because you can take a boat over from Magic Kingdom over there to have dinner and head back. So who has been there?
I have.
I have.
And we're going to disagree on this one too.
I think we are. I think we are.
So
yeah, the atmosphere, again, like incomparable. It was so pretty in there. They have all the fairy lights up there. It looks like you're in an enchanted forest. And there is nobody that is cooler to meet than the Evil Queen. She just plays it up and is so much fun. It's very much like going to 1900 Park and meeting the evil stepmother and the stepsisters. They are the most fun characters to meet. She was amazing. It's great. I went with 8 of us and none of us liked the food. It was just incredibly salty. It's a very interesting menu. So it is shared appetizers and shared desserts, I think. And then everybody gets to order their own entree. And we pretty much all ordered something different. So it wasn't like we all got the same thing and didn't like it. I don't know if it, and I've only eaten there once and haven't gone back because we didn't like it. So, granted, maybe it's gotten better. This was right in the beginning when they first opened it, and everything was just so salty that it was inedible.
I will say the one thing people complain that's salty is in the shared appetizers, there's a wild mushroom bisque. And I will say that was salty. I don't mind salt, so I was good with it.
I love salt. And I was like, I can't eat this. And it wasn't just that. My dish was salt. I had it's called the Stroll Through Nature, which sounds delicious. It's asparagus, leeks, arugula, gnocchi, sage, and Parmesan.
Yeah, I think I had the same thing.
And mine was very, very salty also. I was really disappointed because it was one of those reservations where it's so hard to get. So like all of these, when you get them, you're like, yes, I'm the king of the world.
And it's expensive. It's $60 an adult and $40 per kid. So, like I always say, I do not mind spending money on good food. Like, no problem. Well, problem sometimes, but like, you know what I mean? If you're going to splurge, it better be good food. Granted, at Disney, I feel like sometimes it's more about the atmosphere than the food. Yeah. And I typically am more forgiving of not so great food at restaurants in the parks. I find them to be, except for Epcot, I find them to be less exciting to me than the ones in the resorts. So with this one being in the resort, I'm a little sad and surprised to hear that the food wasn't excellent. I'm still going to try it.
I was going to say, I thought it was delicious. I thought the mushroom bisque was salty. I was good with it. The rest of it was good. My entree was good. I was only with one other person. So we only got to try 2. I thought the desserts, I love desserts. My family loves desserts. If you follow any of our trips on Facebook, you will see that's the majority of what we consume is desserts. Their desserts are awesome.
They were fun. They were themed.
Fun. The whole menu is like a woodsman's kind of theme. Yes. Like everything on the menu. There's a beef stroganoff. There's the gnocchi that Jen was talking about. There's like a herbed chicken. There's rib roast, pork shank, like the kinds of things that you would expect Snow White to whip up for the dwarfs kind of thing.
And you would expect it also in the Wilderness Lodge. So that's so cute also.
Yes.
And again, I'm hoping that it's because it was in the first couple of weeks of it opening and maybe I just got a lousy night.
Maybe that chef is
we did. We told him.
That
Good.
chef's probably
Absolutely.
gone.
They can't do better if you don't tell them. They can't fire the chef. You
It was
know? I'm
very
just
easy
kidding.
to tell them because none of us ate our dinners.
Did they
And
make it? What did they do? Did they
I
just say
don't
sorry and
remember.
send you on your way?
I don't think so. I think that they compensated us a little bit. But again, like you were saying in the beginning, part of some of these, like Space 20, like Cinderella's Royal Table, this is definitely you're paying for that atmosphere. So I don't regret that we went because the vibe in there was so charming and fun. And we just were really disappointed in the food part of it.
I'm sorry to hear that because I love Wilderness Lodge and all things Wilderness Lodge. I even love Whispering Canyon. I
Yes,
do.
you do.
I know
Yes,
I
you
do love
do.
Whispering Canyon. I don't know why. So I'm sad. But you were talking about the desserts, Lori.
Yeah.
And can I just talk about this Miner's Treasures cookies and
Yes.
cream panna cotta? Like, did you have that?
Yes, I ate all the desserts always. That should be a t-shirt. Yeah, it's absolutely awesome. The desserts are they're fun, they're whimsical, they taste amazing. They're just fun and it's shared, so it comes out on these cute platters. Like I really feel like they put a lot of thought into this one.
Yeah. And just to clarify, Juliana, you don't have to choose your dessert. They give you all of them.
All of
You
them.
get all of them. They come out on a platter to share, and the hunter's gift to the queen is like theatrical. It's very cool.
Is it a pig's heart? But that's what he does. Remember? You guys are looking at me like I'm crazy. That's exactly what he does. I know that would be gross to like put on a plate. But what else would the hunter's gift be? She asks him to kill Snow White.
It is.
And
it
he
is
puts a pig's heart in a box and gives it to her. That's what he does.
Oh God.
Sure.
Our ratings just dropped.
They just went up.
Down it went. All right.
And that's all I'll say on that. You'll just have to go and see what it is. But
It
it's
probably
very
doesn't look like a real pig's heart, obviously.
it's very theatrical and cool. Again,
is there dry ice involved?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should be an Imagineer.
Should you though? Because then we'll have pig's hearts delivered to the dining table.
And then it won't be such a hard reservation to get.
Oh, Bobs.
It is.
Don't be listening to this episode.
Right? I think this reservation is 100%. It's one of those, to me, one and dones. It is once you do it, great, you experienced it, and then move on. After a little while, if you're going back there quite a few times, but it is definitely something that you need to go and do once.
I'll agree with you on that one. So
And
is it worth it?
Maybe the COVID shutdown got rid of the salty chef, and now the food's all good.
Salty. I don't know if the chef was salty, but he used a lot of salt.
Or she.
Or she. Maybe it was both.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Mouse are avid travel enthusiasts, and our podcast is sponsored by Kingdom and Cruise Travel. If you're interested in booking a vacation to Disney or any other worldwide destination, be sure to check out our website, kingdomandcruise.com, and our Facebook page at Kingdom and Cruise Travel.
All right. So the next restaurant, we've been talking a lot about atmosphere. You forget the atmosphere. This next restaurant, Topolino's Terrace, is all about the food, and it's just the food, and the food is fantastic. I don't even know if we're talking about breakfast or dinner. I don't care.
Well, if we're talking about difficult reservations, the breakfast one is by far the hardest to get, and that's because that's the one that includes characters.
I will say the dinner is
hard.
It's hard. It is super hard to it. My problem is the breakfast seems to be getting dropped closer to more and more and more. I had such a hard time getting that dinner reservation. I
That's
got
so funny because I'm finding dinner reservations popping up. It
I'm
just
finding
depends.
I'm finding them at like 9:45 at night and 10:15 and 9:15. I'm just not finding them around a normal dinner hour. And especially with breakfast, depending, you could have people that need early morning, they could do a nice brunch, or they could do a later, where I feel like dinner, I don't want to eat no one wants to eat dinner at 9:45 at night. There's not a single person that wants to eat dinner at 9:45 if they had a choice. But yes, Topolino's is at the Riviera Resort, and they do character breakfast in the morning with Mickey, Minnie, Daisy, and Donald. And then the dinner is just amazing. It is no characters. This place, whoever this chef is, needs to run every other restaurant and just all of them.
Agreed. This is
All-
good. And I think for this conversation, I think both reservations are difficult to get. I think breakfast, character breakfasts are hard to get, but I think this one stands out among all the other ones because the food is phenomenal. So you have this great atmosphere, you have the adorable characters, the views from this restaurant. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It really is. I was impressed by it. I didn't have high hopes because, we talked a little bit briefly about Cinderella's Royal Table, right? As a character breakfast that's highly sought after, that like, I don't think the food is great. We're going to talk about another one that I think is on the list that I'm going to say isn't worth it, and you guys are. But I think that we can all agree that the breakfast, I haven't had dinner, so I can't talk about the dinner at Topolino's, but the breakfast is 1,000% worth it. It's $42 for adults, $27 for kids. They'll bring you whatever you want off the menu. We wanted just one Mickey waffle to try because we had already ordered entrees. And of course they brought us, right, Lori? They brought us like 3 of them. And, they'll just bring you whatever. They want you to try everything and they don't make you feel bad about it. It's kind of like being on a cruise, but it's delicious. Like every bit of it's delicious. And can we talk a minute about the drinks?
I know their drinks. And plus I want to say, so this price for the breakfast, this is the same cost as Chef Mickey's.
It is.
I just want everyone to understand. So this is harder to get. And I think that's because it is the same price as every other character breakfast. Tusker House, Chef Mickey's, all of them.
But Bob's, if you're listening, it should stay this price.
No, don't raise it. Please don't raise it. But I think you should lower Chef Mickey's. But it to me, I'm like, if I'm looking at two different, I think this is why this is so popular, is when I'm looking price range between a Chef Mickey's and a Topolino's breakfast, dear God, pick Topolino's because you are getting 10 times better food.
I mean, I think sometimes it's going to depend on location because Topolino's is in Riviera, which is accessible by the Skyliner. So if you're staying in one of those boardwalk area hotels, it's great. If you're staying at a Skyliner hotel, it's great. That's a lot of hotels that this would be close to relatively to get to, right? Because you can't take a bus from one resort to another. So that makes it a little more challenging. Whereas Chef Mickey's being in the Contemporary, there's a lot easier ways to get there. You just get yourself to Magic Kingdom and it's right there. But
plus, if you're headed to the Magic Kingdom after breakfast, it's obviously going to be more convenient to go to Chef Mickey. But I mean, if we're talking food, the costumes of the characters, it's
like
on the top.
The drinks are amazing.
Drinks are amazing.
So good. The only place I've ever had an old fashioned for breakfast.
It's served at dinner too, by the way.
Didn't I? I think
yes,
I did.
So. You did. Eric's had it for breakfast, and then he had it for dinner.
It's delicious.
It's delicious.
All right, so clearly we all approve of Topolino's Terrace. We like the sour cream waffle for breakfast. We like the something for dinner, guys.
Dinner has the gnocchi that's amazing. They have a French veal chop, which literally that's all my husband, but he's like I haven't seen this on a menu anywhere.
It was
he picked up the bone, you guys. He just gnawed it like he was
like
it was a turkey leg in Magic Kingdom. He just went at it.
I'm pretty sure that picture's going on the blog article if you want to see it.
Absolutely. As one should.
It's totally going on. And I think a big thing with this restaurant too, and why it's so popular and if it's worth it, this is a restaurant for breakfast or dinner that I could go back to every single time. And this was the first trip we didn't do the breakfast for Topolino's, and my kids were angry, angry. And I had to promise over and over again that we would go back in October and go to the breakfast. It is just the food is fantastic, and it's one of those restaurants that I'm like, we're gonna keep coming back every time. It is not a one and done, which is
this is worth it, hands down.
Yes.
All right. So is the next one worth it?
Yes.
What is it, Lori? What's the next one?
The next one is California Grill, which is at the top of Disney's Contemporary Resort. So we are talking about the dinner. So they do a dinner, which is seafood and signature dining and other stuff. They have sushi there. I will preface this. I think California Grill was worth it before the 50th anniversary prefix menu.
Interesting.
I do not think it is worth it right now with the prefix menu. I don't like the prefix menu. Right now, they're doing a big 50th celebration for Walt Disney World, and it is prefixed for the dinner. And I don't think that's
expensive.
Worth it. It's expensive, and I don't like the options they have on there either.
It's not like what they used to have? So,
No.
okay, so California Grill, like
some
Lori
of the
said,
options are the same.
some of
Some
them
of
are.
them.
So
We've been, so we were talking about, Lori was talking about dinner. We've been for the brunch on a Sunday.
Which I don't think they've brought it back yet.
I don't think they have. No.
no.
So I'm going to be probably the dissenting voice here, and I'm just going to say it. I've avoided saying this for a really long time. I do not like California Grill. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think the view is worth it. I don't think that, I mean, the view's great, but you can get it other places, sort of. I did not, I remember going for the brunch, getting up there and being like, this is so cool. You walk in, they give you like a mimosa, and then there's the string quartet playing, and it's so awesome. And then I thought from there, it was all kind of downhill. I don't like the food there. I just don't. And then we went for dinner again. I let you guys talk me into trying it again. And again, the atmosphere is great, but it's just not my favorite, especially for the price.
I agree that it's not my favorite. I would rather go, like, we had a great meal at Citrico's. I think that blew California Grill out of the water.
Better. Exactly.
And
Like
Topolino's was phenomenal. So if it was a choice, I would choose one of those over California Grill. I'm with you there.
I'll never go back to California Grill. That's how much I didn't like it.
I will. See, my whole thing with California Grill is that I went so many times before the 50th with Eric. It was Eric and I used to get a babysitter, and that's the place we went. But we would order things and we would kind of share them. Like, I know it's not a sherry type plate deal, but I liked having the a la carte option where if I wanted sushi, if I wanted this, and we wanted to share an entree. To me, this is such it's a very, very limited menu, and this is not what they used to have. So I just don't, for the 50th, I'm out. We actually found a reservation and I canceled it. For Eric and I, when we went out, I looked at the menu and I'm like, I just don't, for the price. If we haven't mentioned, the price is $89 per adult. It is super expensive.
It is expensive. Well, I've not been since the 50th, so my opinions are all before that. But the thing about this that makes it unique and special is that you can see the Magic Kingdom fireworks from the restaurant. And if you have a dinner reservation at that same time, that's great. Sit at your table and enjoy the view. If you don't, let's say you have dinner at 5, fireworks aren't until 9. You used to be able to get back up there to watch them if you just kept your receipt and showed it. So that's a nice perk. It's a reason people like to eat there. And I would say that that might be nice, especially if you do like the food and the atmosphere, then that's something to try for.
I say it's a cool restaurant. It's one, to see Magic Kingdom. You can see Epcot actually from there too, from the top. It's a cool restaurant. They need to figure out the menu. I just feel like they need to figure it out.
I think that much like Artist's Point, what were we talking about? The Storybook Dining. I think this was a one and done for me. I think it was good. I liked the atmosphere. The views were pretty.
Yeah.
Okay. I would rather go to other places at this point.
I was going to say at this point, I think they used to have one of the better menus, and now other people have stepped up and there's better menus elsewhere. But you know what? If you want to experience and see the fireworks from a distance and see a pretty view and everything else, it's definitely cool.
It's a great option for date night for sure, because it is very romantic. And
honestly, I would rather pick the 50th. They have a 50th kind of appetizers deal that they have going on right now. I would pick that over the dinner.
So you can just do a pre-featured
appetizers?
Yeah, it's a prefix menu, but it's what was the name of it? It's an appetizer. It's like something treats. It's just like the dessert party. But it is in a separate room, and it only
the 50th anniversary celebration. Yeah. I think it's still $129 per adult.
It's totally expensive. It is $129, but include your alcohol.
It's like a cocktail party. It's like it's like a set time cocktail party every evening, or however many evenings they're offering it.
And I would pick that over the dinner, even though it's more expensive.
I would give that a try.
Over that,
I would give that a try
right now.
So
that is what I would do. So yeah, all right. So last one. One of the hardest reservations to get is Beaches and Cream. It's at Disney's Beach Club Resort. The reason it is so hard to get, 1, because of the food. 2, it is so tiny. They even made it bigger. They renovated it like a year and a half before COVID, and they made it twice as big, and still nothing. So it is. I do. I love this restaurant.
This is another one though that I see walk-ups available a lot in the, as people are there. So this one is hard to get ahead of time, but if you can be flexible and just show up, you might be able to get in.
I think
Lori
with this
goes
one,
every
too.
single trip, it seems
Every trip.
like.
Yep.
We're
We have
going this time. I'm excited. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
we
haven't-
go every trip with 3 boys. They are determined to take down the kitchen sink. We have not accomplished that yet. I think as they get bigger and bigger, we will see if they accomplish it. But the kitchen sink is a massive kitchen sink filled with too much ice cream and too much whipped cream.
See, that's
And
just
too
it.
much
It's
stuff.
filled with mostly whipped cream, which was my beef with it, right? So I love an old-fashioned ice cream parlor. I grew up in Brooklyn. My mom used to take us to one. I'm used to kitchen sinks. I'm gonna slam Beaches and Cream. I did not
Stop
like
it.
it. I didn't like it. So here's my problems with Beaches and Cream. The menu is incredibly limited. It is literally burgers and ice cream, and that is it. There
And
is
cheeseburger
no
and grilled
option.
cheese and tomato sauce and tomato soup, which is amazing.
But there's no options. If you just want to get even I don't
A
even know,
salad?
even a garden salad. There's nothing.
No,
There's
you're going to
no
Beaches and
there's
Cream.
not even a fried chicken
Oh my
sandwich.
God.
That is
No.
not why you go here.
No, but if you're
Absolutely.
hungry and you want to eat, that's fine. But it's what I don't like about it. I'm not asking for a super huge menu. I'm just asking for maybe a little more than a burger and a grilled cheese, right? Like a chicken sandwich or something. So there's that. But that's fine. But the problem is if you're only going to serve burgers, they should be good burgers.
I've never
And they're
eaten
not
here.
good burgers.
I've
They're just
I've
not.
never eaten their food there.
I've had way better burgers at Disney. This is
No,
not one of Disney's good
Their
burgers.
burgers aren't good.
No.
I will tell you the formula to do this. You order two
Ice cream.
grilled cheeses with tomato soup. I'm telling you, it's amazing. Then you order they have loaded tots. Then that's all you do for a party of 5. You just share that. And then you order the kitchen sink. Perfect.
Okay.
Done.
That's
So
what I'm
Andy and
gonna
I
do.
ordered a burger with tots and we split that. It was just not a good burger. And then we got the kitchen sink. And so I think the idea of the kitchen sink is fantastic. I was not aware that, and I found out later that they put an entire can of whipped cream on top. That is the thing. It's a full can of whipped cream, which is also fine and delicious, except that it was more whipped cream than ice cream underneath. You couldn't find the ice cream.
Wish you could.
If I ever go, I'm going to ask for the whipped cream on the side. I'm going to be that person. Just give me the can and I'll add it myself. Just put all the ice cream and the toppings in there. And then you have to go diving through.
Yeah, that's the whole,
whipped
that's the
cream.
fun. You have to go diving through and then the kids find those little jelly candies.
Oranges.
No,
it's all delicious. And I think that there are people listening to this being like, I don't understand what she's complaining about. That sounds awesome. And if it does to you, go for it. I really would love it if I could just have the whipped cream on the side. I'll do it again. But I won't eat the food. I'll just go for dessert.
Besides the kitchen sink, which is the iconic thing to get, people go there for the experience of getting the kitchen sink. It's an old-fashioned ice cream soda shop. The atmosphere is adorable, and the other things on the menu for dessert are fantastic. Mark and I went, pre-diabetes, and sat at the counter, and we each had I think I had a milkshake that had a whole brownie on top of it. It was delicious and it's fun and the atmosphere is cute. So
they started ringing. So they had sirens and lights, orange lights on the ceiling for the kitchen sink. They brought it back.
It wasn't there when I had the kitchen sink
I know
3 weeks ago.
It came back a week and a half ago because we were passing it last week and we saw. I was like, they're back. The lights are on.
That's hilarious because I will say we were the only people in the whole restaurant ordering a kitchen sink. But I did look at all the other sundaes coming out, and those looked amazing.
They're delicious
in the big glass, tall stem,
old fashioned. Yeah,
just
cute.
like I expected.
Yep.
So.
Yes.
My bar for a beach, a soda shop, is really, really high. And I felt like Beaches and Cream missed the mark. But I will go back. And is it worth it? Yeah, it's not expensive.
Yeah. No.
I think it's totally worth it. It's
Honestly,
fun.
even
It's
if you go,
adorable.
yeah, even if you go and like you said, order like the No Way Jose, whatever, just go in and order that. Be done. But
Right.
it's still worth it.
I've
100%.
learned
And
my
it's
lesson.
nice
I'll
that
try it again.
it's nice that it's so close to Epcot. So if you need a mid-afternoon break, especially, you're going in the hot summer months, this is a great place. You can go out the International Gateway and we're right there at the beach club. You can check out the beach club, which is, our favorite resort, and grab an ice cream. I think it's a great mid-afternoon break, and I think it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
Definitely a hard reservation to get.
It is very hard. All right. So other honorable mentions, Cinderella's Royal Table.
We talked about that a
that one a
lot.
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ohana, for breakfast and dinner. We have mixed feelings on the dinner right now. They haven't fully brought it back to what it was used to. The breakfast still doesn't have the characters quite yet, but their food is still yummy.
Yeah. So it used to be Lilo and Stitch for breakfast. I'm
Yeah.
not sure that breakfast is worth it, like to get yourself all the way to the Poly, unless you're staying there if you're going to do this. But I think the dinner pre-COVID was
Yes.
worth it. It was good. It was fun. And we love Trader Sam's, so you can hang out there for a cocktail before or after or whatever.
Yeah.
I like it.
We also had Ogus Cantina, which actually we just got into because my son went up and asked. And
This is the funniest story, Laura. You have to tell it. I guess you just did.
He walked by and, as spoiled as my child is, turned to me and said, "Why didn't you get an Ogus Canteen reservation?" And I looked at him going, "Because it's so easy to do." So I was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't get it." And he was aggravating me. So I said, "Just go on up and ask." And he goes, "Okay." So he walked up to the cast member and said, "Do you have a reservation to go in?" And the guy looked at him and he goes, "Yeah, sure. How many people?" And I was like, "You got to be kidding me right now." Like, after I just went at him about how hard it is to get a reservation. So no, we waited 10 minutes and we were in Ogus Cantina. And this is 100% worth it by atmosphere alone. Go in, buy a $15, $17 drink and enjoy the atmosphere.
Well, that's just it. There's like two things on the menu here. They're small and they're not why you go. You go here to get yourself to cool off and just to have the experience like we've talked about before. I just love it.
I was going to bring this up. I think we need to go back. They just came out with 2 charcuterie boards instead of their snacks. And I looked, they were huge boards. I think we might need to go back and try them. We didn't because we were literally going to Hollywood Brown Derby right after that. But they were huge. I mean, they were $22. Do not make that face about Hollywood Brown Derby.
Also not worth it.
Oh my God.
Interesting. We should try. We're going to be there on May the 4th. So,
and then we also have Be Our Guest on here. That is 100% not worth it.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think we all agree. I think that the Be Our Guest, being in Beast Castle is really, really cool. But this is one that you might be able to just peek your head in and see. I don't know. Well, not now. Now that it's not quick service for breakfast and lunch.
I know.
You used to always need a reservation, but
the quick service for breakfast was game. I'd love that one.
Me too.
Yeah. So now that it's only table service, I have to tell you, the food in here, I never no. But it
Agreed.
is such a cool environment, like to see all the rooms and stuff.
Yes.
Agreed.
No, it is good. All right. I think that's it. We covered a good amount of them. You can decide whether or not you think they're worth it.
Right. Obviously, everyone has a different opinion.
Majority Juliana.
So
what Mouska tip do you have?
All right. So regardless of what you choose to try, dining reservations open 60 days in advance at 6 a.m. online. So it's, 60 days in advance of your resort package reservation or 60 days in advance of when you want to go, depending. So 6 a.m. online, 7 a.m. if you want to call in. And also just a tip, if you do get a dining reservation, most of them need to be canceled 24 hours in advance of the day of the dining. If you do change your mind, or you will be charged a $10 per person no-show fee or late cancellation fee. And then there are some that are paid ahead of time, like Cinderella's Royal Table. And I think those require 2 days of cancellation. And I think the fee might actually be in full. Not 100% on that. Yeah, I'm getting nods. Okay. If you can't score one of these hard to get dining reservations 60 days in advance, you will not be alone. But your best bet is to try 24 hours in advance of the reservation. When people change their plans, realize, oh, poop, I have to cancel this reservation so I don't get charged. And that's how Lori gets most of hers, because she is a bulldog with a bone when it comes to this thing.
All of them. Totally knows everything 24 hours in advance.
You just got to be willing to sit on your phone and go for it the
Yep.
day before. For me, it's the difficulty of not having. I like to have it figured out sometimes.
I just have it in my head that that's where I'm going. So
yeah, that's what it is, right? And that's what they say. You
Manifest
put it out
it.
in the universe, and it comes back to you. You just know it's going to happen.
yeah,
so it
I'm just
happens.
like this. Well, this is where we're going. So I
That's
had it
the
in my
Lord.
head. Yeah, Sunday
how it
night
works.
that we were going to Topolino's dinner, even though 3 p.m. the day before I didn't have anything, and now all of a sudden at 7 p.m. that night, got it.
That's awesome.
So,
Good for you.
That was my plan. I even 2 weeks in advance had my kids' clothes picked out for Topolino's dinner.
Wow. So
The
there's
lesson
2 tips there.
is
Right.
be a Lori.
Right. There's 2 tips there. Check the night before, and also just know what's going to happen. Just put it out there. It's happening for you.
It's done.
All right.
Well, thank you for spending another fun episode with us. If you can't get enough of us, be sure to follow us on Facebook at Mask Moms Podcast, where we go live with all of the news out of Disney for the week every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Check out our blog at maskmoms with an S, blog.com. And of course, be sure that you're following our shows so that you receive notifications every time new content is released and you never miss an episode. Please consider writing us a review as well. We really appreciate it, and it really helps us know what content to put out there. Thank you.